All right, what's going on, everybody? So I had to talk about this. There's a lot of activity right now in various news realms. Right now, the Supreme Court nominee, Jackson, as well as just a lot of the questions around pedophilia, around children, around just her judgment of that and her definition of woman that she didn't answer, as well as many other issues right now. The trans issue I mentioned yesterday with regards to the male swimmer winning first place, Governor DeSantis from Florida denouncing that, many people in uproar about these things. And then just throughout the years, I remember a male prisoner just coming out as trans, wanting to be transferred and put in a all-women's prison, only to then rape the cellmate that he was in, or and just many other stories like that, right? So a lot of abuse in the transgender area, as well as just the overall growth or the movement of the LGBTQ. And again, let me make this preface. Everybody, all humans, right? God loves every person and sees them as a human being. And there's nothing that puts them lower that you should look at in terms of marginalizing, reducing, or whatever it is, right? And so there's no hate, there's no shame in that. But the sin itself, the actual action, the actual mindset behind it, the growth of that aspect being a hindrance, just a distraction, a identity crisis in some sense. And the fact that that Christ is void in their life allows them to be in a place for which they're not whole. And we love these people. We hope that they would overcome it. And there's a lot there, right? And I'm not going to claim to know anything and everything about how to go through that crisis and empathizing with that. But I see it from an objective point of view. And as a loving brother, I want to make that disclaimer. But the fact is, there's been a lot of movement, a lot of marginalization and just different things that makes this movement be more accepted than it should be. And I have to make this very clear. All of these things are modern day wickedness, modern day sins, modern day idols that is not pleasing to the Lord. And so I've talked about before the fact that God created a man, and a woman. There's no other way. There's no other way to look at that than a man being born a man and a woman being born a woman. And now the struggle with that, as I mentioned, people may have to, there's different ways you can counsel, you can try to heal, you can try to love on them as they go through it and all these different things, right? But the fact is, some of these things have gone on too far, right? And in today's society, more than ever, and you can ask statisticians or humanitarians or whoever it is, but modern day human sex trafficking, slavery, abuse, pedophilia, all these things by the sheer numbers is more today than ever before. And that's because, you have 7+ billion people on earth. You have a lot of secret underground things that are happening. And all of these things, as I mentioned before, with many other topics or many other issues, it's being brought to light and it's being exposed. A lot of people, they're brushing it off. They think it might exist, but not to the gravity or the scale that people think it is. But all these things exist. And what God's doing now, he's testing the hearts of people. He's bringing it to light. And it's being brought to such a place. You got Hunter Biden's laptop. You got many other things happening, right? It's being brought to a place for which you've got to see it biblically. In the Bible, God specifically commands not to oppress the widow, the orphan, the needy, the sojourner, right? The foreigner. And among those, the first two, the orphan or the widow and the orphan, is in regards to children and women. And especially when they are, detached or they have a lack in something, a connection to family, and in these things, right? And so it's too often in the Bible, it talks about women and children. So in regards to cities being ransacked, in regards to taking, the lives of, sparing the lives of, and detaching the women and children. And Satan so often goes after these two, marginalizing, oppressing, especially the weakest of these, which are the widow and the orphan. And so you got to remember that Satan, in all of his power, he wants to tackle and attack the weakest. And I don't say that in any offensive way. I'm talking specifically with regards to whether it's biological, physical, whether it's in regards to any kind of psychological attacks, societal attack, whatever it is. in the realm of the culture that they live in at that time, Satan wants to attack that. He wants to attack it because he wants to divide, he wants to conquer. And so this is nothing against the women and children. It's that Satan, because they are physically and, as I mentioned, psychologically, whatever it is, there's been something there for which he wants to demean and demoralize. And you have to realize that Satan, in this day and age, he's not going to pit man versus woman. He's done that many times over the centuries, right? But he's doing something. He's so tricky. He's so cunning that what he's doing right now is he's taking what is this alternate definition of what a woman is. And you got people talking about woman with an X, instead of the E and the A. You got definitions coming out the wazoo about what men should be and redefining that. He's so cunning that he's slipping this into society, making people think that it's okay, that we shouldn't be marginalizing somebody else at the expense of women. And so you see how that's working? Instead of pitting woman versus man, and then of course man obviously having some societal status or gain over the centuries, he's taking something else that looks and appears to be more marginalized, right? Transgender people, and then saying if you pit that against women who are of higher status or societal image, and then comparing that, then naturally no one's gonna, in some sense, speak out against it. But people know if you really are biblically sound, you have a righteous heart, and you see that from the perspective of sin, you know that this is wrong. You know this is wrong, especially with how it's being played out in many ways. The rape, right? The women's sports and all these different things. If you don't look at that and say that this is wrong, this is not right in terms of it not being beneficial for women's sports and all women in general, then you're being blindsided and you're being deceived, right? And so this is what Satan is doing now. And what's happening is that people have to wake up by being pushed all of this information, by exposing you to the real world and what's going on, not having this brushed under the rug anymore. And so God is allowing this to come to the surface, to the light, even to the Supreme Court, being a topic in Congress, in the Senate, in the hearings, and many other places. And you're going to see more of that. And many people, they're going to naturally be outraged. They're going to be angry. The children, especially, and the pedophilia, all of that is going to hopefully unite the people that are across cultures, even if you want to say the left, right, or whatever it is, right? And so you have to realize that these things are a modern day issue, but God is going to expose it and deal with it. And so you need to keep praying. You have to be in a place for which you can empathize, sympathize, and love on these people. And so God is calling many of us at this time to prepare for what is this great exposure, and for many people that are in need of healing. The people, even in LGBTQ, many groups, right? They're in need of healing. There's many foster homes, there's many, orphanages, many places for which God needs servants. He needs his people there to be able to minister to heal, to love on these people. And so pray for them, guys. Be aware of it. More is coming. But you got to be awakened to that. It's an issue. It's a big modern day issue. And Satan is hard at work trying to conquer this area. So God bless you guys. Love you guys. Talk to you guys very soon.